This is Josh, Jay, and Brett. Listening to some nice jazz. We're going to get into the album here. This is just our walk on music. It asked us for walk on music, and I thought of this track because my roommate used to play this as he was walking into the house. Like he would connect to the Sonos system, and then you'd play it, and we're like, I think he's about to walk in. Um, so, what you should expect in this session is we're going to be talking through the album, sharing some different stories, how the record was made, and play through each track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might pause after each song. We're gonna kind of feel it out. If there's thoughts or comments you guys have, we'll be trying to check those out as well and respond to anything and just share some fun stories that come to mind.
Yeah. Anything to add, Brett?
Excited for everybody to hear it. This is awesome. Let's rip.
Let's rip. So we are starting out with the first.
Yeah.
song.
Is there any? Yeah. Do we want to talk anything about how we got to this intro? Do you think that'd be interesting? I imagine we can play the intro to the first song versus pausing there because for transition stuff.
Oh yeah. We
maybe
probably play the intro into the first song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, well, so we were trying to figure out this whole album. We've been figuring out how to get transitions in between songs because a lot of our favorite records just feel like they're a seamless experience. And even in our live show, we kind of try to add into that space. So when we were working on Sophie's House, we just spent a while on different ways of making different parts sound cool. And one of those moments was in the bridge. We were listening to the saxophone and strings, and we were running everything through tape and this cool eventide outboard chorus delay thing. And one of the effects called Scary Movie pitched everything down an octave and made it stereo, made it sound really, really cool. And I think everyone was just obsessed with that sound. And I don't know, maybe Josh was like, let's throw that in as the intro. So we then ran it through tape, slowed it down, did all the things that kind of made it what it is now. So that's the bridge of Sophie's House, pitched down an octave or so, turned into. Oh, the
Beach
Beatles and
Boys.
Beach Boys. Yeah, one of the Beach Boys, maybe God Only Knows or something. It's a very speed thing. If you're into technicals, I love that, and I can give you a little bit. I don't know if this is over people's heads, but very speed tape stuff sometimes doesn't stay in the original pitch of things. So one of the Beach Boys songs starts an intro like half a step or a quarter step down, and then the song starts, and then it's in key, and it's like the most epic thing ever. So I was like, let's try that, and that was the inspo I think behind this intro.
This song starts in a different key and then it goes into the key of Sophie's House.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, here you go.
What's up? This is Half Alive. Glad you guys are joining in, tuning in to us. That was the first song, Sophie's House. I'm going to be speaking on a radio voice today because that's fun for me. So, if you guys haven't heard, we just announced we have tour coming up. It's going to be an exciting time for us. We got some great shows. We got a great lineup of openers. We're very excited. And that'll be in the spring. It'll be a nice little world tour for us, doing some US, some Europe, some UK, Australia, the whole nine. So
I like your radio voice, Jay.
thank you. Can't be excited about anything. Yeah, so we're excited. Again, thanks for hopping in here. So that was Sophie's House. We're jumping to Automatic next. So we want to share just a thought or two about Automatic. Who wants to share?
I can share.
All right, Brett.
Yeah, this is one of our favorites. Took us a long time to figure out when we first wrote it. It was the first day was amazing, and after that, it took a very, very long time to crack. And we fought for it, and we love how it came out, and we love the song, and we hope you enjoy.
Tight. Yeah, we're good. All right, here we go. So, all right, I'm gonna hit music only, and I'm hoping it just starts on automatic.
Half Alive. Now I'm in my radio voice. Hello. Hello, everybody. The next song is People. And this one started because you know how when you're driving, like on a freeway, or what do other people call it? Highway?
Highway.
No, highways and freeways are different.
Well, highways are free. No, freeways are free. Highways you have to pay for.
Oh,
I
that's
think
confusing.
That's a big difference, I think.
That's
They all
unfortunate.
function as roads.
Yeah, they're all roads. All right, so we'll say when you're driving on the road. um, and you see someone else driving next to you, and you look over at them and think like, man, they are going to their own world. Like they've lived however many years they've lived on this earth, and there's another person on my other side, and there's a person ahead of me, and we're all like just in this one moment for a split second, and then like all these people have their own lives. And it's kind of like an existential thought. Um, but it started with that, and just kind of thinking like, it's kind of crazy when you lock eyes with someone, especially, and you think like, wow, that is a stranger that I know nothing about. But maybe I'm more like them than I thought,
Hmm.
or than I would otherwise be aware of. And you kind of imagine yourself in their shoes and them in your shoes, and it sort of creates a new sense of empathy.
Mm.
Uh,
Can I share a thought?
yeah, please.
uh, One or two things that came to mind as well was we've been working on songs for a while, and a lot of our songs go dynamic, right? There's huge moments, there's small moments, and love that in music. For this song in particular, we were really trying to find a way that we could vibe and groove the whole time. It was just like the drums are going, and we don't usually do that in our songs. It's usually big, like drums cut out, or electric drums come in, whatever, sample drums, drum machines, all that kind of stuff. So it was cool to find a song finally where Brett can just kind of groove the whole time, and found that sick beat. And then we were just cool bass line. And that's like the song in a lot of ways. So love that about this song. The other part was that pre-chorus that's also the bridge was like one of the most fire moments working with Tommy King, our producer. When he found that moment, we were just like ba 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 da. Like that whole thing was one of my favorite moments on this record, just like finding that magic. And there's moments throughout each song that we found that magic, but for me, that was one of the magical moments. So shout out that part, shout out cool keyboards, shout out bridge. Okay,
Here's people.
here's people.
What's up, everybody? That was People. Just wanted to remind you guys we do have a tour announced that we're super excited about, and we have some exciting news. We are going to be doing VIP. Can you even imagine? We're so excited. We can't wait. This next song is called Bleed It Out. This is one of my personal favorites. Um, yeah, lots to talk about. Just going to say here, I hope you enjoy it. All right, here it is.
This has been fun. We're just about halfway through. The next song, Long Drive, there's a lot of really fun production, a lot of really fun stereo moments, things going to your right ear and to your left ear and in between. So if you haven't put on a pair of headphones, and if you have some and you'd like to grab them, I'm going to give you a moment. Put them on, take a nice breath, and listen to the song with some fun moments right to left, right to left. There's a lot of cool things there. Rest of the record, the whole record is like that, but take a moment, grab a pair of headphones. We love headphones. Josh had some fun thoughts about this song.
Yeah, essentially that the song started out very acoustic, entirely acoustic actually, and then our producer Tommy King thought that it it should really expand beyond that. Um, it was a lot more like soundscapey. It still kind of is soundscapey, but uh, yeah, he added a lot of stuff to it that like really made it just come alive a little more. So we also had Casey Hill on the song, which was a dream for us because we've all listened to her quite a bit, and she just has this voice that's magical, or makes everything work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a glue,
Mm-hmm.
really, to everything. So um, yeah, it was really a dream to have her on this track and meet her in the studio and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, without further ado, this is Long Drive. That was Long Drive by Half Alive. Up next, we have the song Lie, comma, Lie, known as Lie Lie. This song is essentially about, like, when you're talking with someone and you're asking how they're doing, and they might not give you a wholehearted response for whatever reason. And they might say, "Oh, I'm doing good." And even if you're like, "I don't know, you seem like you're not really doing good." Um, it's just like it's a subtle, small little lie in that, because like it at least in the situation I'm describing, I really am genuinely wanting to know, like, are you okay? Is there something you want to talk about? Is there a way that I can help care for you in this moment? But even if you're not ready to let me in, you can say, "I'm not doing okay, but I don't want to talk about that right now." Or, there is something, but I'm not ready to share. But to say like, "No, I'm great. I'm doing fantastic." Um, is is not really it's not really helpful in the situation. So, um, lyrically, that's what the song's about.
For y'all music nerds that want to hear a little bit about gear, I'll give you just a moment. So most of the synths on the record, but on this next song, because I feel like in the chorus particularly, there's these huge warping synths. Shout out Yamaha CS60. Shout out Roland Juno, and then shout out Roland JV. I think 1000. I think is what it is. If y'all don't know, and you want to know, that's for one or two of you at least. Um, there's a lot of fun moments there. Synths are really fun on this whole record, but uh, there was a lot of cool little things that we explored on this. Oh, and one last thought within that world, which I think is fun for some artists. Not all artists like to share like references and such, but for a while we and still are kind of chasing a Killers thing, and a lot of the early parts of the song was kind of that and a 1975 thing. So I imagine you can probably hear a little bit of both, but that was kind of like our headspace when we were writing this like up tempo vibe. Brett had a thought.
One thing I'd like to add about this song is that what song is this? The point that's coming. Never mind. I have a thought for the point. But in the meantime, we are so excited for these VIP sessions. But Jay, and we're really excited. We're probably going to do acoustic set, things like that. But Jay was wondering if there was something different to do. So if anybody wanted to do something like play dodgeball or any types of ideas like that, feel free to let us know. Most likely we will land with acoustic set, but we are curious to hear if there's anything that you guys might be if you're tired of acoustic songs and want to play dodgeball or something like that, let us know.
All right, without further ado, here is Lili. What is up? This is Half Alive. You are tuned in to the Half Alive radio station on a lovely Friday, wherever time you are. The next song we have up for you is called All My Love, slash, or parentheses, Imperative. We were calling the song Imperative in the studio because that was like one of the early lyrics. And then at the end of the song, we realized that lyric is no longer in the song. So it would seem a little silly to still call it that. But we were so attached to that, so we had to include it in the parentheses. We actually just released a music video for this song that is on YouTube. Um, and it's shot entirely with these Ray-Ban just released a new line of glasses that has a camera in the lens, and it shoots your perspective of the world. So it's kind of like strapping a GoPro to your face, but it doesn't look like you have a GoPro strapped to your face, which is always the bummer part about strapping GoPros to your face, is that you look really silly. So um, yeah, this one's a lot cooler, and we shot the whole thing on those glasses and really pushed the product to its limit, like in all ways, because it's a really tiny camera, so it's definitely not like cinema grade, you could say, but it is a really interesting and unique way to shoot a music video. So yeah, you can check that out. It was uploaded 14 hours ago. Jay.
Cool thing about this song, we this was probably one of the few songs that truly started with us playing playing live like in the live studio, just like jamming. And we jammed for a while. We brought in a friend, Merrick, and he was playing this old guitar, and it had a cool vibe to it. And Brett got on drums, and I got on bass, and
Rubber Bridge.
Rubber Bridge, shout out.
Shout out Rubber Bridge.
Rubber Bridge guitars, and we were just jamming for a while. And we brought in another friend that was a lyricist, and Josh would come in and out and be like, try this, and we just kind of kept like molding it together, which was really fun. We don't always get to do that, or not always even in spaces that allow us just to be like a band in like the more traditional setting, you might say. So All My Love really, and that's kind of like why the core of it feels like just like, three kind of cool, a drum, guitar, and bass part kind of just like jamming. Also, cool thing again for you music nerds out there. That intro line that sounds really wild is a guitar part that then we pitched and messed with and ran it through this plugin called Melodyne, and that's how we got that sound. So it's a pretty cool sounding guitar part that's really hard to figure out how to play live, but it's sick in its core. So, anyways, that's a little bit of the background behind All My Love and how we started it.
Also, another thought on lyrics is it's the idea of the song is that when someone asks you, especially like in LA or like other New York, LA, like really cities that are all about the hustle, basically, is like if someone asks me, "How are you doing?" and I say, "Oh, I'm good. I'm busy." That's like my like gut response usually because it's such a common response, but it can like busyness in this sense can become artificial significance. So that is essentially what the song is about is like putting like where are you finding your worth? Are you finding it in how busy you are because that is like a social status of how important you are, or is it in something deeper than that? So uh yeah, without further ado, here is All My Love, Imperative.
That was All My Love. Um, that song's funny in the sense that I feel like once we did a music video and started playing live, I didn't realize how short it was. So I don't know if we figure something out for tour or if that's just what it is.
When we played it last night, it felt like it was 30 seconds.
Yeah, it feels like it's like 20 seconds long, which we're actually going to be double checking to see the actual length to see if it's longer than that. This next song is called The Point. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but this song was actually in the original batch of Conditions of a Punk songs, if you can even imagine. And I wish that I could say that there was like a super significant and meaningful reason why it got pulled out of that or not used on the other one, but it was honestly really subjective. And we always loved this song. And it was really cool to see it come to life for this album. Yeah, it's got a lot of great lyrics and messaging and production, and we're really, really proud of this one and are happy that it made the leap. Anything else? Josh does a funny voice on this one because when you're writing it, it's just like, I don't know. What's the point?
Right.
And we always quote that.
Yeah, that's true. We were writing with somebody that sang kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really do it justice. It's a little bit more dramatic.
Is this the oldest song on the record?
This is the oldest song in the world.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is it? 3 years? 4 years?
No, 4 years.
I don't know if you guys are hearing this, but Josh and Jay are debating if it's 3 or 4 years old.
I think it's 2021.
Okay.
So whatever length of time that is.
I got one more thing to share. The first sound that you hear on this is like, did it end up being a saxophone?
Yeah.
It is a saxophone. At first, it was an electric guitar, but it sounded very rock and roll, and so which is fine. We can do rock and roll, but it wasn't right for the song, and so we had the saxophonist. What's his name? Jared Leto. We had Jared Leto come in and play saxophone, and
Shout out.
he was doing really good.
Ours, I guess.
Yeah. And we had him try stuff on, I don't know, 5 different songs.
No, Henry Solomon.
calling him Jared. His name's Henry.
Yeah. It's
Sorry,
Henry. No, it's Henry. He's great.
Well, I think it's Jared Leto. So, yeah. So the first sound you hear is a saxophone and not a guitar. We're sorry about that, but we're not sorry because we like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here is The Point.
Half Alive listening to Persona LP3. That was just the point. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with us on this LA Monday morning for us, maybe somewhere later or different for you.
It's almost.
It's almost noon.
Oh, we had a show last night, so it was a
That was a late. Yeah, we had a great album release show. First time for us. We did it at the Moroccan Lounge, which was the first headline show we ever played, and it was really
6 years ago.
6 years ago, and it was really great to be back there. Shout out the people that came that first show and then came back last night. A lot of new friends we met as well. Also, speaking of shows, we have a tour announce. Just came out. It's going to be a really fun world tour.
Where are we going, Jay?
We're gonna. I think I'm thinking we're gonna start in San Diego, and then we're gonna make our way through the coast of the U.S. around and back,
Through the coast.
and we're gonna end at the Palladium in
Texas, the coast.
yeah, it's just Texas, the coast. But yeah, we're excited for the Palladium in LA. That's one of our biggest venues we will have ever played at that point, and that's gonna be really exciting. So we'd love for you all to come and see that. We have some great openers, and it's going to be a really sweet show. And hey, if you're UK or Europe, if you're tuning in, maybe it's really late or early for you guys, not sure, but thank you for tuning in. And we got some shows out there. It's going to be sweet. A couple of shows in Australia. It's going to be a fun year packed of shows, and the tour is going to be awesome. It's going to be really great. So grab a ticket, bring a friend, bring an aunt, bring your grandma. It's going to be sick.
The next song we're playing is Songs, which features our friend Jordana. It was great to do this one in the studio, and then we just shot a music video for it. It came out, I don't know, a week and a half ago or something like that. So um, it was I was thinking about this, like, I think this is like music video number, I don't know, 20 or something that I've directed for Half Alive, but it's the first true one take, I think. Maybe there's another one that I'm forgetting about, but
Was Did I Make You Up one take?
no.
Okay.
But it feels like it.
Okay.
There's a few of them that feel like it, but aren't actually one takes. Like, Still Feel is feels like a one take, but really it's like 4 shots or something like that. But this one, we sped the whole song up, so it was playing at 1.25 speed, which is actually a lot faster than you think. Because at first I was like, oh, we'll just double the speed. Impossible. 1.5 times. Impossible. Just enough so that when you watch the video, it's supposed to give this like dreamy quality to it of like you don't really know why it feels a certain way, but it's like, huh, like what is so soothing about this? That was the goal of that. But it made the music video process, because it's actually a one take, that we just did in 6 hours, like from beginning to end. Like when we arrived at the house that we were renting to when we left was 6 hours, which was the shortest time we've ever done a music video. Um, but it made that process insane, which you'll see some behind the scenes of that at some point. But it was crazy. We had to like run around the camera and get to certain points of the house because the camera was about to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay was running with his stand-up bass,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. And Jordana, the night before, she was like, I really want to dance. Can I dance in it?
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't planning on you dancing, but we could figure something out. So then when we got there, we were lucky enough to have uh, some incredible people helping us with the dance side of things. So we were able to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little emotion in there.
Oneers, I guess, is when you just do a one take, are very fun to film, I think, because the energy is super high the whole time. When you do a normal music video, often there's a lot of like waiting or getting the camera set and the lighting set for each shot, which is very important, but just sometimes can take very long and just kind of wait while things are getting handled. But a one take, you're in it. And like Josh mentioned, I'm carrying a bass and running in between a kitchen and a living room. The energy is really high. So I like that kind of energy, just find your spot. And it's quick. There's a lot of energy. It's really fun and exhausting all at the same time. So those are really fun. So that video was a fun one to shoot for sure.
Just a quick note on the lyrical theme of this song. It's essentially like the things that are like unseen and infinite breaking into the present. And that happens like the sort of audio cue for that is whenever I hear people sing in harmony, it like gives me shivers up my spine, up my spine. Um, and it's just so special to like hear two like the most human thing of singing and to hear two people and their voices just like twisting together and you can sort of just see it blend into this one thing that the song is in a sense about harmony both in the literal sense and the metaphorical sense of um, like noticing how special a moment is and redeeming the time that is of the present. I was just learning about the two different types of time, Chronos and Kairos. And one is like Chronos, like chronology, like just order of events, and the other Kairos would be like described as the um, when time sort of slows down or stops and you get a sense of this is the right moment for something or to say something or to do something and it is like heaven breaking into earth in that moment and so this song is essentially about that kind of time. So really special song, hope you enjoy. It's called Songs.
Second to last song on our new album, Persona. So we have one more song for you guys called Thank You. And while we play Thank You, I want to give you guys a minute to think of some questions, comment on the app here. Any questions you have for the album, the process, how we made it, any lyric things, and we'll try to jump into answering some of those questions after this song. So while it's playing and you're kind of just enjoying the calming moment of this acoustic song, think of some questions for us and we'll try to answer those at the end. So just giving that little thought, but I want to speak a little bit into Thank You before we play it. Some thoughts behind the lyrics and why we ended up choosing an acoustic song, though the song didn't start as an acoustic song. Felt important to kind of find in the same way like our second record had Lost piano ending. We really believe in really stripped down songs. And if a song's great at its core, it's a great song. And we found that Thank You fit that specific slot we were looking for on the whole record of energetic songs, medium tempo songs, slower songs. We wanted something that felt very organic and raw, and that was what this song was. It was just live instruments ran through tape, played and performed, and it was really stripped in the pure sense we could find and pull off. But Foley started with like a drum beat and cool guitar parts and a bigger version of it, but it felt special with those lyrics to kind of lean into the lyric and lean into the message and just kind of have it be an acoustic guitar moment that we got to do live, which was really cool to see Josh and Brett lean into that acoustic guitar moment on the live show last night, which we'll be bringing on tour in some capacity as we figure that out. So yeah, really really special song for us here. And Josh, you had some thoughts on any of the lyrics?
Yeah. um Sort of the lyrical approach of this was I think it was I hadn't seen my parents in a while and I saw them again and I noticed like they just looked a little older and not in a bad way but just in like a whoa passage of time is happening right now and like I think when I was younger I never thought about time. Like it just wasn't a concept. It's like time was nothing. But um, as the years have progressed, I think more and more about it. Of just like wanting to use my time well, wanting to uh, be spending my time on the in the ways that I want to, and so this song is essentially like being grateful for time when it is good, when it is painful, and positive and negative when it's on both sides of the coin, being grateful for the life that is given to us. And that sense of gratitude is like, I mean, from many different standpoints, from like therapy standpoint is like bringing you into mental health. From biblical standpoint, like Thanksgiving brings you into the presence of God. Uh, and it's just the act of being thankful for the time you've been given is in itself a uh, practice of accepting all that life has to give you. So, um, yeah, a really special song, and so it needed to be. The production is like very stripped down because of that. So here is thank you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat. We will take some time after the song is done and answer those before we hop off the air. Okay, here is the last song of Persona called Thank You.
Hello, hello. That was Thank You, the last song off of Half-Life LP3 Persona. Thank you for tuning in for the album, partial or all of it. It Please re-listen and stream it, and would love for you guys to continually let us know what you think your favorite song is and any standout moments. We love seeing those types of comments on wherever you post things. We try to find them, and it's fun for us to see what stands out to you guys lyrically or musically. So please keep doing that. Always appreciate that. And we got some questions here that you guys are commenting here, so we want to take a minute and try to answer some of those questions as we're kind of wrapping up here. So I am reading through them now in real time, and let's see.
Someone was asking him the why we have the monsters sung and share. Um, I mean, the album's called Persona, right? So it's like the the ability to like wear a different skin than one's true self is kind of what the album is about. It's about perception. Like if our first record was more cerebral, and our second one was more emotional, this one's more about perception, I guess. So, um, like that's where those bits about like looking at the stranger and looking at yourself and looking at like where's your worth coming from, um, and are you seeing what is reality or not? And so, the most obvious visual representation for that is to wear a mask. And so, Sunny and Cher are characters that were created to represent that point, and just as a fun way to explore the the story of them arriving on scene and throughout the first two music videos that were released through Sophie's House and Automatic, their story gets started. So um, yeah, that's like why. I guess that's why we came up with that. Other questions we are looking right now. Any that stand out to you, Jay?
Greg, got one?
Huh?
You got one?
No, I don't. Let me see. I was gonna read them.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Yeah, it's on the computer here. Yeah, there was
How is the creative process for this album different than others?
yeah, that's a great question. A lot of this record was kind of us learning from the previous records how we had made music and songwriting and production, the whole process. And we kind of found our favorite moments and try to kind of bring it together on this record. So what that turned into was the three of us in the room with our just one producer. We loved working with Tommy King and bringing some of our favorite people to inspire moments lyrically and musically. There's a lot of really great collaborators on this record that really made this what it is, and that was so inspiring for us. So to bring in additional collaborators and just the three of us be in a space where it feels like we can kind of try things and be a band to play things live was a big change, which might sound unique because we're a band and you'd expect that, but in a lot of ways, especially being in LA, that's not always the case for how music's made out here, and we kind of had to fight for that a little bit. So we needed to be in a space where we could track drums live and write to a live drum part or write to a live guitar and bass part and let that inspire the vocal melody and vice versa. So that was something that we really wanted to do, and something that even on tour we were like, we want to make sure these songs feel good to play live. So I think we found that with this record uniquely in a way that we had been chasing for the last two. So that was something that felt different and something we're really passionate about for this record making process. BK?
You got one. Gonna tackle two questions. Do you guys purposely reference Now Not Yet Rest in songs like All My Love? That theme feels very similar. I just think as artists, we kind of are chasing similar things as people. I don't think that it's like we necessarily start from scratch every time. And I think a lot of times, like, there's natural um, similarities just from having our own voices that we're developing over the course of these albums. And then, yeah, second question, any advice to somebody struggling to experience gratitude and being present? I would say for me, I wouldn't try to force yourself to be where you're not. So if you're not experiencing gratitude, I would move through whatever emotions those are that are blocking you. And then once you feel free to then search for gratitude. But I think it's important to sit with where you're at and not where you should be.
There's a lot of questions on here that are what's our like favorite song to record or favorite line or favorite lyric. Um, I mean, it's such a process. It's funny, like it's kind of like when you ask a parent to pick a favorite kid, which they do have favorite children. Like there definitely is. I was the favorite for a long time, but then my older sister had a baby, so I think she's the favorite now. Um, so in a way, I don't know. I guess we could pick a favorite.
It's tough too, like in the sense of like what's our favorite song to play live or any of these things. I think it's so fresh for us right now. I'm like very excited about all of them. There are moments of different ones that pop up, but because we haven't played the songs live yet, really, besides just last night, I think it's kind of fresh for us. So it does feel like everything just feels like very new for us and very excited about just about all of them. And I think we'll have to kind of live with it a longer time, kind of like you guys. We've worked on them so intently and we worked on the mix for so long that like everything we've listened to so detailed that I think after something's out, we can take a pause from it and give it some breath and then come back to it and then be re-inspired by it. So that's kind of like where I'm sitting right now. I love all the songs and I think they're all really amazing and we really chase something, but I've been in it so closely that it's hard to have any kind of perspective of what I like more or less currently.
A few questions about choreography. Our choreographers since the beginning pretty much have been Jordan and Aiden, known as Jaw Collective. Jordan is Jay's brother. Aiden is a friend of Jordan's that he met in college. And then we've had, a couple of other people throughout that, but mainly Jaw Collective has been our choreography instructors this whole time. And the brilliance behind the dance is all them. So um, yeah, really kind of crazy that they are so good and we were able to just be, I mean, actually family with them
Yeah.
is wild. Yeah, it'd be a bummer if if your family was like in dance but they just weren't that good.
That would be a bummer if we wanted to work with them and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. If
But
you're
they're
a
actually
nonstop
just so
song,
good.
yeah,
And so the music video that we just released 14 hours ago, uh,
all my
for All
love.
My Love,
Hmm.
is directed by Aiden, um, the A part of Jaw Collective, and uh, it's just like his brilliance being showcased on the video, and everything was like just perfectly planned out well before the video, and which is crazy. Once you see it, it's like, oh wow, it's like organized chaos at its
Hmm.
finest.
Some a question I saw: putting any limitations to art and how we kind of came up with this album. Putting any limitations on it. I think it's kind of an organic question or an organic like process for us when we're working on music. And I think the beginning stages, and even for this record, we're just chasing things that feel inspiring and listening to music that inspires us. And the first like few months, we worked with a lot of different people and wrote a lot of different songs, kind of chasing things. And we tried lots of different sounds as we were kind of finding what we wanted this album to feel like. And eventually we're like, we want it to feel cohesive. That felt really important to us. So we're like, can we find a sound that feels an aesthetic that stays rather consistent through the whole record? And what is that? So that was the limitation once we found it, an inspired limitation to kind of make it all feel like it's in a similar world. Another one was we want it to feel like a band's performing these songs. We don't want it to feel like it's a in the box per se, or like produced, not performed type of thing. So we wanted that to feel like these are real parts being played by people. So we leaned into that as an inspired limitation. And I think we tried to do everything in just one space, which also created a sound. We did it all in like South Glendale, Pasadena area in a studio that all was like, there was a drum tone there was a piano tone there. It was all done there. And I think that inspired a limitation by using what was in front of us pretty much, and just allowing the physical instruments in front of us to be our limitation. So that ended up being the process for this one on in terms of limitation. And I always encourage limitations if you can. Try to find something that feels inspiring. But when you have so many options, it can be challenging to choose the right one. So we found that we needed to be in a physical space to be inspired for this record, and one that consistently felt good to go into every day for quite a few months to make this a reality. Cool. We're going to do a couple more questions and then we're going to wrap here. So, reading through.
Yeah, I see a bunch of questions just on like the process of the album, and someone specifically asking about Andrew Aged,
Mm,
who's one of the guitarists that we had on the album. But we had a lot of like it's the three of us plus our producer helping to like break down the songs into their most essential form. But then we also invite other musicians and songwriters into the process, um, to sort of act like a basketball team where we could just like pass the ball, and uh, like if I have an idea that I'm stuck on, they can help unlock those things.
hmm
And also, like some of these musicians are just unreal. Like Andrew Age is playing stuff that I could never play in my life. So
Yeah, very
having
good.
tapping in some of the best people around, uh, is is a huge plus, and a lot of those happen because of our relationship with our producer Tommy King.
hmm
So he's like, what this song could use is like a saxophone, and I'm gonna bring in, what's his name, Jay?
Henry. Shout out Henry.
Henry. Um,
Yeah, the what's cool about it is like, so Bleed It Out or Long Drive, those parts were already there, kind of like that. Those like turned into almost like a Prince moment. Those guitar parts, right, and Bleed It Out that are really sick. Originally, those were like a Mellotron sound with a Septivox. That Brett and I both played different versions of that, and it was really sick. It felt inspired. And Tommy's like, we got to get a guitar player to do this and make it feel even bigger. So it was like finding those moments of like Josh and Andrew kind of messing with parts to find that. Or Long Drive, a lot of these cool ethereal moments was like, the song's finished. What if we just had Andrew blow over it, like as a jazz term, just like kind of improvise a little bit and try some stuff. And that's where a lot of those like ethereal moments kind of came of him just being like, this is my ear, this is my voice as a guitar player. And, Andrew plays a lot with McGee right now, and McGee was an inspired artist for some of these songs as well. So that kind of like distorted, crazy guitar thing, we're like, how can it feel huge and big, but feel iconic? So Andrew really brought that, and Dylan Day really brought that acoustic guitar player that was slide guitar. Incredible.
and the acoustic, he played the acoustic on Thank You,
Yeah. And
which
then,
he makes it sound like there's three people playing guitar at
yeah,
the same time,
it
but it was
was
just basically
so
a
much
one
fun.
take.
And Tommy truly is an incredible keyboard player, piano player. And it was cool. Some producers play every instrument, and it's a challenge for us as other instrumentalists to kind of figure out how we can like complement each other and not like be like on top of each other. And Tommy's like, I don't play guitar. I don't play bass. I can't do it. You guys have to do it. I play keyboards really well and can play drums. but he's like, I'm mostly a piano player. And though all of us do play piano and keyboards, he's so good that it was just like, you're a fourth member in this process for
Yeah.
us. We can lean into you to find these incredible moments. You're good at programming synths in a way
Yeah.
that is so inspiring for us that all of those things really made this record be a reality for us.
Any songs that almost didn't make the record? I feel like I saw that one. We These songs are like the best of all the songs we were circling. Um, I kind of We came in with like a batch of like ideas and potential songs, and it felt kind of just like gardening, where we just kind of like water each song and see what came. And all of these ones were like the best of the best. And yeah, still some that maybe we'll look at again or not. So we're really proud of this body work.
And just as a last question here before we wrap up, I see someone asking, what messages do you want to release with your music as a whole? Which I think is in a lot of ways up for interpretation, because like the songs obviously mean something to us when we're writing them, but to fully impose that, and explicitly say this is what the song means, even though we've been breaking down some of the ideas behind the songs, like what they actually mean and what the body of work as a whole should do is up to you. Like how, when you listen to it, like what does it do in your brain and in your heart? Um, and so, yeah, thank you guys for listening to the record, and I hope that as you continue to listen, that the themes, that we were writing about, but also like whatever it means to you, however that translates. I think that translation is a huge part of this process, and how it might take on a specific meaning to you. Like, oh, this is, we might have written it about one thing, but to you it might mean, oh, this is like about my mother, or this is about, when I was a child or whatever. So, um, yeah, thank you guys for being here, and I hope you enjoy Persona, the record. Until next time.